Okay, here we go. 50 vlogs in 50 days. I was going to be training across Ireland in particular and even over the UK with Netix for the next 5 to 6 weeks. That's all been put on hold. We're working on webinars and stuff. So they've come on board to help me do this for the next 50 days, which is 50 animal health topics with a little twist, a positive note at the end of it. Trying to keep a bit of energy going, trying to keep a little bit of enthusiasm and some good information for farmers over the next 50 days. I'm going to cover calf scour first, and I think it's important because there's so many lessons we're learning about humans and human health and the spread of disease that we can apply to farms when it's fresh in our heads. There's a lot of calving still going on. It's the latter end of calving. We often see calf scour. So what is scour? How does it occur? So if we think about our lumen of our gut, that long meters of gut in the calf, actually if you go down to a very small cellular level, these finger-like villi in the gut, and it's just really to increase the absorption capacity of the gut. And what a lot of these viral agents in particular will do will affect these and damage them, and they can reduce absorption of fluid. And we then have from a reduction of fluid, so these health fluids go into the body, that's how the gut works. We can actually get fluids being lost, and that's where we get loose dung, that's where we get diarrhea or scour. And really, dehydration is the big thing with calf scour. Obviously appetite goes down, immunity goes down after that, and it gets very difficult to get those calves back. So we'll talk about treatments in a little bit. So what are the causes of calf scour? Typically it's our viruses, our rotavirus, and there is a coronavirus that causes scour in calves, but typically rotavirus, bacterial, particularly in young calves before 7 days of age, we might see E. coli. Then in older calves you can typically see Salmonella, sometimes Campylobacter, and then your typical parasites that cause scour are Cryptosporidium and Coccidiosis. So Cryptosporidium is from about a week to 6 weeks, and Coccidiosis, because it takes 3 weeks in its life cycle, is a bit older. I'm going to cover a lot of these topics on their own because they're so important. Diagnosis. I think one of the steps when you have a scour on your farm is to make a diagnosis of what is the agent causing it. This rapid test that your vet can do. We can send them to a lab. I think before treatment, certainly if you're using antibiotics, and we'll talk about whether you should or shouldn't use antibiotics in these cases, get a scour sample done, work with your vet there to make a diagnosis. It's not going to dramatically maybe change a lot of the cases, but at least if we know what we're dealing with, we can put in a better control plan. So what does calf scour cost you? Obviously calves are going to lose performance, particularly with some of these parasites. Now the gut will heal unlike the lungs, but these calves are always catching up. It's expensive, medicines, and some calves with severe scours, if they're immunosuppressed, colostrum management has been poor on farm, we're going to lose calves. The other big thing is you'll often see, you'll start with a calf scour and then those calves will get pneumonia or something else. And for farmers, the big frustration, the cost of disease, is the time and effort, and particularly if it's the end of a calving season, it's that burnout, and we definitely, my thought for today will be, we're under a lot of pressure, everyone's under pressure at the moment. You want to avoid that, so keep things as simple and going as well as possible on farm. So if I look at control, and this is really back to disease spread again, where do these agents come from? A lot of them come from the dam to the mother. Obviously with the suckler cow, that's a challenge because the calf is staying with the cow. For dairy calves, when they're removed from the mother, what happens is they'll spread it one to the other. And the big thing to remember with calf scour is, it only takes 100 of these viral agents or these crypto to go into the calf, and you can get millions produced out the back. So there's a multiplication effect. And then it's all about, and this is a very important thing to remember, I call it the balance between infection, pressure and immunity. So on one side we have immunity, and on the other side we have infection pressure, and that's the amount of the virus or bacteria that's there. And we're always trying to balance that. So if you have all these calves producing millions of these viral or parasitic scour agents, you'll have infection pressure rising up, tipping the scales to clinical signs. And then if we don't have strong immunity, like poor colostrum absorption, you can get a real tip in the balance. So it's always battling. Everything's a battle on farm between immunity and infection pressure. We want to maximize immunity through good management. We want to reduce infection pressure through good hygiene. So the source of the spread. So typically it's a hard thing to do, but if you have a calf scouring in a pen, remove them from the pen, clean out the pen. We're trying to remove the source of infection. So always trying to think about the source of infection. Reducing then the spread. So if these calves are scouring, you have a pen of calves that are scouring, we can transfer it from pen to pen. If you look at your overalls, your hands, wearing gloves, really essential on farm as well as now, we all know about that, but wearing gloves is really essential. Cleaning equipment, if we're sharing equipment between it, one area that I see sometimes the stomach tube is used to treat a sick calf, then it goes to be given a calf with colostrum. So really important in control. You know, if it's suckler calves, getting them out of the source infection. But okay, let's just quickly remind ourselves of some key things when it comes to calf scour. And this is a challenge, and I really like colostrum and talk a lot about it. You know, one of the key challenges is that I suppose as the season goes on, this amount of infection pressure goes up. People are getting tired. You've more calves going through a system, and it's just there's a combination of factors. But colostrum is absolutely key for all of these scour agents. Absolutely key. Good quality colostrum given quickly in the right quantities. It's really important to go back in and look at colostrum management. And some of the work we've been doing with Netix is around our colostrum replacer, which is in the link below. But colostrum management on farm is really, really important. Vaccination can help. So if you vaccinate the dam, you stimulate the immune system of the cow to produce these antibodies and colostrum, which are really can help young calves. Really critical with calf scour is hygiene. Hygiene of bedding, hygiene of colostrum actually. This is an interesting one. Hygiene of colostrum, because you know a lot of times with colostrum, you know, even if we do all the 3 Qs, the quantity, the quality and quickly, if there's bacteria in it, that's the first thing that goes into the gut and it will slow up absorption of these antibodies, all this other fantastic things that are in colostrum. In sheds, drainage, moisture, fresh air, bedding and cleaning equipment. So hygiene is really key to stop this spread. So if you get a calf scour outbreak, I always say to farmers, what I'd say is just step back, see how we can improve hygiene. It might be just getting a blue barrel with some disinfectant, put equipment into, you know, how often are we changing the bedding, you know, how can we reduce the spread. Feeding, so if you take calves off milk, if you take them away from their cows, you're going to reduce the success rate, particularly with calf scour. Suckler cows, sometimes turnout helps. Obviously with dairy calves, when we're snatching calving, so they're not spending a huge amount of time in that calving box, which can be a high area of infection pressure. If you look at, this is important with calf scour, look, we don't want massive outbreaks, but we'll occasionally get a calf with scour. It's worth working with your vet to come up with a protocol, but treatment relies on early intervention. So, you know, watching, and I'm going to talk about calf signals and getting just really good at knowing what the normal is, because if you spot that calf with scour, don't delay with fluids. Do not delay, because that rehydration is so critical. We rehydrate the animal, they're able to, you know, fight the disease, their own immune system will work, particularly with viral and parasites. You know, it's supportive treatment. I always will put in warm fluids. I don't know whether everyone else does that or not, just particularly young calves. Have a plan written down somewhere. This is, if we have a calf with scour, this is what we use, this is when we use it, this is how we do it. I have some videos on my website about stomach tubing. Antibiotics, I will say, you know, very rarely would they be advised. Again, it's something you talk to your vet with. So very few of our scours are bacterial, so there's, you know, is there a need for antibiotics unless the calf is sick? Now as well, veterinary intervention is really important when calves start going down, because oral rehydration, which is key, works really well, and I'm going to talk about oral rehydration on its own actually, because I think it's so important. But you know, intravenous fluids and quite dramatic volumes of fluids as well have to help. So keep them on milk, because that milk helps healing the gut. Electrolytes, Netix has some fantastic electrolytes in their range, and I think, you know, mixing them up well, doing them correctly, and having the right SID value, all those other things like the balance, the acidosis, really important. I think I'm a fan of warm and other supportive treatments. People will think about different things that they can give to calf, but again, that's down to your vet. What's the best protocols for your farm? But just really, when you get calf scour, think about reducing down the spread, working in hygiene, colostrum vaccination, hygiene, feeding, really key to managing calf scour. So that's it. That's the first video, first vlog done. There's a little bit of writing as well about calf scour, and I suppose I said each day I try and have some sort of a positive message at the end of each of the videos to mix it up a little bit, because I'm doing these capacity building workshops with farmers since January, and it is about, okay, animal health, business planning on farm, but it's also about people and making sure we're okay ourselves. And I think for me, if I was to give one bit of advice today, it is, you know, with all the pressure that's on people, sometimes it's good to step back and be just a little bit thankful for what is you do have. So take a deep breath. I think farmers are lucky. You're out in the outdoors. There's people all over the country that are locked into houses and flats without gardens even. So, you know, business as usual in farming, it's never more important that food supply is occurring. So sometimes even under pressure, my advice is just to take a deep breath and be thankful for what you have. And that's my thought for today. So that's it. That's the first 50 for 50 done. Stay tuned. There's going to be one every day for the next 50 days.